Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks Live. And today I'd like to kick it off by saying that it was Chris Mills who suggested the idea that World War III might be conducted just completely online, the next World War. I thought that was an interesting idea. When I mentioned it before, I couldn't remember who it was that had suggested it, but it was Chris Mills. So I just want to give him credit for that before I forget again. Robbie Reese, what's up, dude? Glad to see you here, man. Glad you could make it. Yeah, good to see you. Another thing I just wanted to talk about, there was a movie back in the 80s, one of those John Hughes movies, Some Kind of Wonderful. What's up, Trip? Glad to see you here, man. Hope everything's going good down there. But who's that? Oliver Reese? Oh, no, that's Robbie Reese. Okay. All right. I thought somebody new had showed up. No, glad to hear it, Robbie. Glad to hear you're doing good, man. Bucky, what's up? Ain't seen you here in a while, man. Glad to see ya. Lake. Yeah, I went to Walmart and got a three DVD set of John Hughes movies, and one of them was Some Kind of Wonderful. Wasn't that the name of it? What was it? Yeah, Some Kind of Wonderful. And Julia, what's up, Julia? Glad to see you here. But I was watching that movie earlier today, and it just hit me. I remembered that movie, and it's the one where the guy has the friend, the really cool girl that's his best friend, and he's chasing after this yuppie kind of stuck up girl. And he's ignoring his really cool best friend girl. And I just remember hating that guy in that movie. I'm like, you idiot, you know what I'm saying? And I know that all Gen X dudes who watched that movie back then, we had to feel the same way. That guy, I wanted to kick that dude's ass. That character, it's one of the only movies that I've seen where I actually wanted to throw the main character a beat down. You know what I mean? That guy just pissed me off so bad, ignoring that super cool chick that was in love with him and chasing after that stuck-up yuppie broad. Yeah, that just made me so mad. Who else we got here? Bucky, Julia, Robbie Reese. Okay, nobody new. And another thing I'd like to talk about is that last live stream, I think it was yesterday morning, might have been, I said something about, how much I like doing these live streams because it was like our little pocket of sanity in an insane world. And I realized that wasn't very inclusive. And y'all know how much inclusivity means to me. I like to be inclusive. And I was thinking about it, and by calling this, our little group here sane, I was kind of excluding the Aussies and the Norwegians. So I'll amend that sanity thing to slightly unhinged. that way the Australians and the Norwegians can feel like part of our group. How's that? How's that fit you, Trip and Lake? Slightly unhinged Gen Xers. How's that? Christopher John, what's up? Final Fantasy. Glad to see y'all here. Y'all having a good weekend, I hope. Yeah. I finally got a day off. Sunday. I told y'all that I hated painting, and yesterday I put in 14 hours painting the interior of that little house. And I have to change my mind about how I hate painting. I don't hate painting anymore. I loathe painting. I despise painting. There's got to be a new adjective. Unhinged. Yeah. I think Gen X, we're all a little unhinged in a good way though. Not in that weird, the weird internet way. We're all a little unhinged in a good damn way, I think. Electric rollers. I don't think I've tried one of those yet. We've got the big I have a big pneumatic air compressor, the paint gun, and that's what we use. But in that small house, we got to wear a mask, and it's not fun. But yeah, and the cleaning up the gun and everything afterwards, after putting in 13 hours, and then you got to clean up that gun for an hour. Oh, it's just miserable. And then the last probably 2 or 3 hours, it started a real heavy thunderstorm, lightning crashing outside, and it was dark because there's no lights in the house yet, and the clouds came over and it's dark. We got a flashlight in there trying to paint and shit. It was just it was a trip. But yeah, I just do not like painting. Hopefully that's the last bit of painting I have to do on that house. I just uploaded tiny house video from last week, but I haven't made it public yet. So you got to wait a couple hours, and I was just late today uploading it. Usually try to upload it first thing Sunday morning. That way I can make it live around noon or whatever. But today I was just running late, so after we get done with our live stream here, I'll make that short video public so y'all can check it out. I just put the railing up around the loft area. That's what that video shows. I think it turned out really cool. Oh, Final Fantasy, yeah, it's coming along now. My next video I'll make probably tomorrow is it painted. The whole interior is painted and stuff. It's starting to shape up. Now we'll start putting in cabinets and trim, and it'll start looking like a real house from now on. I don't know where the ghosts went. I haven't seen any evidence of them the last week or so. Sound effects, yeah. 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 REM, yeah. Yeah, I haven't thought about them in a while, but I like that song. 16 Candles, yeah, I have that one too. It was 16 Candles, that one I was just talking about, Some Kind of Wonderful, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But I just saw Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I just watched it not too long ago, so I haven't watched it again. I went ahead and watched Some Kind of Wonderful, but I forgot how much I despise that dude in that movie. Punch him right in the face. Yeah, I wish we could, Christopher. Yeah, no, yeah. Trip's probably right. 83. Yeah. Go back, give us an extra 4 years. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Everything, I don't know. It just seemed so simple back then. I don't know how, maybe adults, it was complicated to adults, but it seemed simple back then. Life was simple. Simpler, not simple, I can't say that. We weren't cavemen, just eat and reproduce. But it was definitely simpler, right? I think so anyway. The technology was simpler. Now, it seems to me like that when we talk about technology now and stuff, seems to me like it's a lot more people mean software. Back then we meant hardware. Is that just me that kind of gets that impression now? Like Facebook is, and all this is technology. Facebook, I don't know. Just don't feel like updates to software is technology. Updates to hardware is technology. New things, actual things I can hold in my hand, that's technology. Not that software shit. AI, I guess AI is technology, huh? What do y'all think? But yeah, better hair. Yeah, the music, the style, and I get some shit for that because I never have stopped being in love with the 80s style, the 80s fashion. I see that stuff, old pictures, and I love that shit. My wife was watching whatever it was, that movie, Some Kind of Wonderful today. No, it was 16 Candles. 16 Candles. And I pointed out, hey, I still, doesn't that shit look cool? Look at what they're wearing, what we used to wear back then. That shit was so awesome. And she didn't quite agree with me. So I think I'm in the minority there among Gen Xers who think that our fashion, our style back then was just as good as everything else. Everybody loves our music and our movies from back in the day. But I still love our style, our the way we dressed and all that stuff. Yeah, Final Fantasy, the Eurythmics, yeah. One of my favorite songs of all time is Missionary Man. I love that song. I'd listen to that shit today. It's on my playlist. Yeah, a tool that uses itself. Yeah, that shit's getting creepy, man. The shit hiding files from people and lying to people, and now all that. The creepiest part to me are these virtual relationships. Like these younger people and maybe some older people too are getting into these relationships with code. I mean, it's an AI, whatever you want to call it, but it's just code somebody wrote. That's creepy to me, Pretty soon they're going to be just like we had with the gay marriage and all that stuff. It's going to be AI marriage. They're going to be, you're going to be whatever AI. They'll make up a new name for that if you're attracted to AI instead of to a man or a woman or whatever. There'll be AI, whatever, homo whatever, and you'll be homo whatever-ophobic if you think that shit's weird. You know what I'm saying? So... if you don't want to date AI, you'll be homo AI-ophobic. And that's it. I can see that shit coming down the pike. I'm serious. April, Ducky, Ducky. I like the way they dressed back then. We dressed, all the layers and the thin ties and the, what are those called, those bolo things or whatever, I forget what those are called, but that, all that cool shit, the hats and the man, I just love that shit. It was awesome. The 50s plus Coke. Yeah, we had style, Trip. Hell yeah, we had style, and it was all our own. We weren't copying somebody else, you know what I mean? We didn't go back and copy. Like I see now these fads come into fashion with these younger kids and they'll wear bell bottoms or something from the past. We didn't do that. I don't ever remember us doing that. Parachute pants weren't worn by the silent generation or any shit like that ever. All of our shit was brand new. All of our movies, our music, they didn't have rock music. They didn't have heavy metal before us. They didn't have all that shit before us. That was us. And if we hadn't been into that stuff, if we hadn't, jumped on board that stuff, then it wouldn't exist. There would be no heavy metal if we didn't, mow lawns and save up our empty pop bottles and cash them in to go buy the records and the cassette tapes and the CDs. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we created that whole thing and maybe not, like the boomers and stuff, they made the stuff, but they made it about us, like all those movies that I'm talking about. Those were about us. You take us out of the picture, those movies are meaningless. They don't exist. There's no movie to make, right? So our culture and our style was original, and what am I trying to say? It was magnetic. It was attractive. People liked it enough to make movies and music, and it was a whole like a blossom of culture. It wasn't just a rehashing of the same shit like you see nowadays. They're just rehashing bell bottoms. Oh, good for you. You're wearing bell bottoms. That shit was ugly back in the 60s, and it's ugly now. And that's my personal opinion. I used to have, my mom has pictures of that, me in bell bottoms and the ugly shit, and I've never been able to stomach those damn pictures. 68. All right. That's a good damn number. One away from the magic number, Christopher. One more year. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no real fights, Julia. Yep. Yeah, keyboard warriors. And they're going to be, like Julia just said, there's no real fights. They're all doing this shit behind the keyboard. Pretty soon they're going to have no real relationships. It's all just going to be, they're going to be keyboard lovers. And so, instead of keyboard warriors, they're going to be falling in love with AI and all this bullshit. Oh, outfit modeled on Mad Max? That'd be badass. Yeah, that'd be badass. Trip. Yeah. Yeah, I had a leather jacket too. I love that damn thing. No, I don't remember that one, Juliet. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde together again? I don't remember that one. Janko Raver pants are back. I believe it. Metal Gear Punisher. What's up, dude? Glad to see you here, man. Yeah, Final Fantasy. All right, Final Fantasy's on my team with the damn bell bottom thing. That shit was just wrong. They shouldn't have done that to people. And then the younger generations picking up on that shit. Look at those old pictures and say, "Oh, that's cool." What the hell are you thinking? Y'all need to lay off of that Flexeril or whatever the hell you're taking. Join us in the real world. Yeah, Christopher, AI is evil. I mean, pure evil. There's no conscience, no soul, no feeling, no empathy, just straight up X's and O's. And if they ever give that shit real power, humanity is in trouble. I mean, come on. You can't look at that shit and think that everything's going to be okay. Yeah, robot girlfriends, Garden Earth guy. Hey, what's up, dude? Glad you can make it, Gardner. But yeah, you're exactly right. Robot girlfriends and stuff. And that's, honestly, when I was younger and stuff, I thought that that's the way it would go. I did not think that it would be just AI. Maybe the robot girlfriends are the next step. Maybe they had to go through the AI thing, just falling in love with a non-existent computer program. Maybe that's the first step. I don't know. But yeah, I always envisioned it down the road as robots. Yeah, AI is an abomination. Maybe that was prophetic, that movie about AI and their whole anti-AI sentiment in that movie. It was a deep theme, but it was a major theme throughout that whole books. I've read the books, and yeah, that kind of stuff. I mean, if you think about it, it's really dangerous, and not dangerous, like we think about danger as in, danger close to a few people or to your personal self or whatever. It's a danger to humanity, and these fools are just walking right into it. La 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 la. So yeah. Oh yeah, dancing to techno. I used to love going to those places. I this one place, I remember they served this big drink because I, didn't have a lot of money when I was 21, 22 years old. So I'd get the most, I'd get whatever I could get that, contained the most. And I'd get these big, tall drinks. They were neon green, and it was called an electric watermelon. I'd get me 2 of those. Yeah. Lonnie Lazar. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Lonnie. Yeah. We can talk to someone, look them in the eye, shake hands, even shake hands and not have a mental breakdown. You're damn right. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, Bucky hit the nail on the head there. It may already have all the power. We don't know. We don't know. We might see the effects of it soon. But Metal Gear, it should be a crime. It is a crime against humanity. You've got crimes against humanity that aren't legal statutes in some book somewhere. But that AI is a crime against humanity. Not only not just in a physical danger way, like it could start launching nukes on its own someday or whatever, but just the depopulation theme that's going to go through with, I have a relationship and I'm in love with this computer program and I'm going to marry this computer program and I got to get done with work so I can get home and relax and hang out with my computer girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. That way I'm not meeting real people and having kids and having families and stuff like that. That's the real danger that's being presented to us now. You know what I mean? They're just we think the population is declining until everybody starts falling in love with computer programs, and then and that will become normalized. That will just be normal in another 20, 30 years or whatever. That would be the normal thing, and they'll be cooking up kids in vats at the authorized amounts of offspring. The authorized amount of new people will be born every year, and not a single child more. That's the kind of shit that the state, that's the kind of future the state has planned for us. The globalist, whatever you want to call it. Daisy Dukes. Yeah, Daisy Duke. Knight Rider, yeah, Knight Rider. You can't go wrong with Knight Rider, Metal Gear. I would take Kit. If I could have Kit, that would be awesome. It would be a tough toss up for me between Kit and the DeLorean from Back to the Future. I don't know if I'd want to go back and have to see it all be destroyed again. If I could just loop around in the 80s for eternity, I'd be cool. But I wouldn't. I'd be afraid of getting stuck and have to watch it all be destroyed again. Midori liqueur with vodka and rum. Jason Lamore, what's up? Oh yeah, Trip. Yeah, Daisy Duke. Yeah, Sydney Sweeney ain't got shit on Daisy Duke. Yeah. Another day closer to the grave. Oh yeah, definitely, Gardner. Yeah, everything will have a monthly subscription. Your butler, your what do they call it? The Ultima, whatever, the Tesla robot that cleans your house and does everything for you, monthly subscription. Your girlfriend to have a monthly subscription. Your wife one day, your husband, whatever it is, will have a monthly subscription. They'll hold your relationship hostage if you don't fork over the dough. Just everything's going to that monthly subscription thing, and your life, they'll rip your life apart if you don't pay. And that's the world we're living in now. That's not even the future. You think that shit's bad? Try to cancel some of those subscriptions and see what happens. Trip, vodka unless it's white rum. Yeah, I've always. Oh, they had another one that just reminded me of another drink I used to drink in my early 20s. Was the Laser Beam. It was called another neon drink. Yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah. Joe's Garage. Yep. Marriage to Machines. That shit's. I don't know. That shit's just gross and scary to me. Not really scary. Weird. I'm not really scared of it, but I don't want it to happen to humanity. You know, I wouldn't choose that. Artiste, what's up, dude? Yeah, yeah, Artiste. That's going down a rabbit hole, but yeah, yeah, there could be a lot more of that, and there is a lot more than we realize, because a lot of the accounts on social media, Facebook and Twitter, well, X and all that stuff, a lot of those are just fake. They're AI, they're bots and shit. You argue with somebody on there, and it's not even a real person. They're just programmed to kick up controversy and keep us divided, keep you hating the other side, right? Because the other side is so volatile, and they'll call you names and all this stuff. Well, it's a bot. It's AI. It's been programmed to do that. So that's part of it. Yeah, it's already here. I don't know how, I don't know just how prevalent it is. I just know it's a lot worse than everybody thinks it is. I don't know how far down how deep that rabbit hole is, but it's a hole for damn sure. Oh yeah, Dead Wolf. Yeah, give me a thumbs up and all that stuff if you don't mind while you're here. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of weird shit like that, Gardner, where they're being charged more insurance because he liked to drive it. Yeah, and that kind of shit. And just honestly, there's no way I would buy a new vehicle nowadays. A lot of people don't like the electric Cybertrucks and shit, and I think that is purposeful misinformation by the powers that be, right? So you'll feel safe if you buy a gas-powered engine. So if you think about it, and a lot of y'all probably already have, but for those of you who might not have thought of it, the whatever power you use to turn the wheels has nothing to do with the technology that's tracking you and shit and reporting your shit. That's all. These new cars have Wi-Fi and GPS tracking and all that shit in them. No matter what turns the wheels, that's completely irrelevant. So it's just the newer models of cars. I don't give a shit if it's gas, electric, diesel, whatever. Nuclear power, I don't care what powers the engine and turns the wheels. The dangers are still there. So the dangers, on liberty and freedom. Yeah, yeah, that's true, Christopher. We live day to day. Wake up in the morning and, curse the sky because the apocalypse hasn't arrived yet. Yeah, I've owned a couple motorcycles throughout my lifetime, Jason, and I, I love riding motorcycles. I've got a story about, I got, I won't go into it here, but I got a funny story about a motorcycle. I made a video of it a year ago or so. Got a funny motorcycle story, but yeah, I love bikes. Oliver Rust, what's up, dude? I can't blame you for that, Oliver. A damn frosty beer hits the spot, dude. Yeah. Skynet, yeah, Gardner. Yeah. Yeah, I believe it, artiste. I've never heard that before, but I believe it. Whole buildings that are just sound stages for fake YouTuber shills, yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if y'all have heard that before, but the YouTubers, the shit is just so fake. YouTubers will go. They've got these places that rent jets, private jets, but not to fly in, just to take pictures in front of. They'll lower the damn, the stairs, and you can take pictures and video of you getting on this jet and going off to some fancy party in New York or whatever. And then, after your little video shoot is done, you go back to your house and sit down and finish binge watching whatever. So it's just so fake. These lives these people present on YouTube, it's fake to a disgusting level, right? And they've got these younger kids thinking that that they can attain that stuff, then they're aspiring to be that. And that's not even what they are. They're aspiring to be a fake thing. It's just mind-blowing. Yeah, Dead Wolf, anything with a computer chip. Yeah, and everything has a computer chip now. You can't buy a car without a computer chip in it. Not in America, anyway. I think they just came out with a Toyota pickup that is just baseline model, no frills, nothing, but they won't allow them to sell it in America. Yeah, another day closer to the apocalypse. We can hope, anyway. People, oh yeah. Yeah, car subscriptions. Yeah, they'll quit selling them altogether. Yeah, I believe that, Artiste. Yeah, they're trying. I'll tell you how far I will go with that shit. Y'all will think I'm crazy, but I think before we die that we will be paying a monthly subscription for air. I think they're trying to figure out a way to sell us air. Yeah. I think we'll have to pay a monthly subscription to breathe. We're basically already buying water, right? Most people anyway pay for water, and that's the last thing. We all have to buy our food now. We used to be, back in the day, we used to produce our own food, grow our own food, that kind of stuff. And now they've got us completely away from that. Most people don't even know where their food comes from. Think that that Chicken McNuggets is just a name like ice cream. They don't realize that it was actually a chicken at one time, a live crowing chicken. That's how ignorant people are, and that they got us off of all that stuff, and now they're going to get us off of air. I think is the next one. We'll be paying some kind of fee for clean air. Either they'll sell us some kind of system that we have to pay a monthly subscription for that cleans our air, whatever, something like that. Trip. Final Fantasy saved you the trouble, dude. Somebody had to bring it up. Yeah. Chaz, there he is. Free Fall. What's up, dude? Old Halo. What's up, Halo? Yeah, Dead Wolf. I don't know. People do though, especially the younger kids. They love that shit. They watch the hell out of it. Those are those YouTube channels with a gazillion subscribers and gazillions of views and shit, and it's all fake garbage. I mean, I'm not the best looking guy in the world, but I try to be real. You know what I'm saying? So I try to stick and not make up a bunch of crazy shit. Or if I do, at least y'all know that I'm full of shit, that I'm just clowning around. Like the whole thing about the Australians and the Norwegians earlier. Y'all know I'm joking, hopefully. Yeah, Dead Wolf. Yep. Yeah, 50s and 60s vehicles, and just keep them going. All right, that's the way to go, Dead Wolf. Yeah. Do your own shit. Stay off that. I'd like to be completely off of the system. Completely, what's that called? Off the grid or whatever. Completely off, not necessarily lunatic prepper style, but just normal prepper and normal self-sufficiency, I think is the key to anything, even if there is no apocalypse. heaven forbid. But I think that self-sufficiency is just the key to happiness. You can't be happy if you're depending on something else, even if it's a job, right? If I'm depending on Microsoft or Amazon not to fire me next week and to pay my bills every week, then I just cannot be truly happy, you know? You just can't. So I think dependency is just like the leech of happiness. And that's why all these people you see out there that are angry and shit, because they're not self-sufficient. They're depending on something else for their living, for everything. Yeah. Yeah, oxygen tax. Yeah, that's it, Trip, right there. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, all right. Yeah, that's a good thing. That's Christopher. Yeah, see what you can buy for 120 bucks. Or are you doing like survival stuff, or just period, just food and shit, grocery shopping? Recycled air, Chaz. I don't think anybody paid very much for that, Chaz. Uh, yeah, 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 Lake, exactly. Yeah, yeah, it does sound suspicious, doesn't it, Final Fantasy? Yeah, I just think that that's coming down the pike. Arnis GM. Yeah, yeah, they will. It depends on the car, but yeah, yeah, you're not gonna get very good gas mileage from it, but you won't get tracked by the government either. Sailing with the gods. Glad to see you back. Yeah, glad to see you back. Tim Beck, what's up? Yeah, I bet you do. That recycled air, but yeah, I just really think that that's on their to-do list, you know, and I think that was kind of the test of 2020 when they had everybody locked down and stuff to see if they could do that, how far they could push that. And the next thing, we'll be wearing, and if you wear a mask, they'll be wanting people to carry air tanks around with them and wear masks, and then you get in and have your air purifier in your house and shit, of course, and all that equipment is rental. You'll have to pay your monthly fee on that shit. Yeah, yeah, sustainable retirement community with no tech. I'm down with that, Christopher. No, I haven't seen that, artiste. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. Is it AI though, dude? It's hard to tell now. Because I run across those things, and those things look so real, some of them, especially when it's something like that. If it's people, it's easy to tell, for me anyway. But a lot of times I'll be suspicious of that shit, skeptical about some weird shit crawling out of something else, and no people involved. Yeah, yeah, Robbie Convid, yeah, exactly. And I've heard a lot of stuff that's a lot of people have been have been injured or whatever because of the cure. The cure is worse than the disease type of thing. So I don't know about that. There's a lot of questions in my mind about that. And of course, if y'all know me at all, I've got questions. Anything that the government or institutions and stuff have to do with, I'm skeptical right off the bat. Yeah. Yep. Exactly, Trip. That's what I'm talking about. And they found out what percentage of the population was willing to walk around with this goofy shit on their face, and and whatnot. So it just makes sense to me. I don't know, and I don't put it past them. Let's say that I do not put it past them to have that in the works, especially when you look at history and see how they've made everything else, literally everything else, books by subscription now, movies by subscription, everything. And so you don't own anything. This is really bad. That's a bad road for humanity to go down, because that is one of the fundamental freedoms. If you can't own your own property, you're not free. You know what I mean? That's the one of the fundamental things that makes you free, is that you have your own space, your own property. You own those books, you own those movies. Those are yours. You paid for them with your time and your hard work, and they're just taking that away. And us as a society, we're just allowing it for the sake of convenience, right? It's so much more convenient. Yeah, they take away my choice because they'll take a movie off my streaming platform, so I can't watch Ferris Bueller anymore. So I'll have to watch some other shit, right? Or whatever. I can't watch They Live or whatever because they took it off. But that's okay. It's just more convenient because I don't have to actually touch a DVD anymore. And that was really so exhausting to put a DVD in the tray. I'm just so glad I don't have to do that anymore. Or and then you got the kids who just they didn't know anything else. They didn't know the freedom of owning their own property, and they grew up in an Xbox Live world where they don't own their games. They've got to pay a subscription to Microsoft in order to play their games. Period. And that's just the way it is. So the kids don't know any different. It's us, you and me, Gen Xers, who know that this is wrong. And we feel it in our guts. This is wrong. This isn't right. I'm supposed to own my own property. Whether it be a book or a DVD or a video game, whatever the hell. It's mine. I bought it. I paid for it. It's mine. But you can buy it and pay for it. You can pay the fee for that item, pay $60 for that video game, but try not paying your Xbox Live subscription. See how that works. And the same thing, Amazon's the worst. Not only do they make you pay a monthly subscription for your shit, they'll go in and edit your shit. Yeah, they'll just go in and edit your books because they've got access to them. So you don't even have what you actually bought. It's different now because they've changed it. That's not the approved ideas anymore. Those ideas aren't approved anymore. So Amazon will just go in and change them. Yeah. Yeah. Trip. Yeah. Zombie Nation. Yeah. Yeah, it's just more insanity. Oh, damn, yeah. Yeah, Christopher, I've heard many things like that, many stories like that. And it's... the thing with me is that... now, YouTube doesn't like this line of conversation, so I've got to be careful. But most of y'all probably have seen that in 2020 and 2021, whatever it was, that even by the World Health Organization, by their numbers, cases of the flu just vanished, went away, zero. So that's pretty damn suspicious to me, you know. We've had the flu for my entire life. People have got the flu, and then all of a sudden in 2020, no one has the flu. Zero. I mean, zero, goose egg. Nobody has the flu in the world. Nobody has the flu. So just that right there, just that one statistic, that one number, that one little digital whatever, that one little factoid should make everybody, wake up and question the official narrative on everything, every damn thing. Not just, what happened in 2020. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it is about billionaires when they get there and they want to start destroying society and shit. I don't know what the hell. They want to start, doing crazy shit and taking away freedom and all this, yeah, he was already making billions of dollars just selling shit online. Why does he have to make it subscription based and so we don't own anything? What is he gaining from that? I'm just saying, if I was a billionaire like that and I was running a country, I would, I'd tell my people, my board of directors or whatever, hell no, we're not doing that. I will fold this bitch up and take my billions and go live on an island for the rest of my life before I sell everybody out, the people of planet Earth out. I'm already rich. I don't give a shit. I'll burn this bitch to the ground. So that mental transition between the way I feel now and the way Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and them feel, the way they think, I don't get that at all. I mean, they're just like aliens, right? Or lizards or something. Maybe they are lizards or some shit. It's just like inhuman. Maybe they're AI. Maybe they're robots. Seriously. I don't know, but it's that far removed from the human way of thinking and just feeling for your fellow humans. There is none of that. No feeling for your fellow humans, for their liberty, for their health, for any of it. How the hell are you going to be a multimillionaire or a billionaire or whatever and cut Oxycontin loose on the world and tell everybody it's safe and non-addictive? How the hell are you going to do that and be a human who cares about other humans? I don't get it. You're already rich, What the hell? You want to be richer and destroy and kill and everything in search of that, trying to find that richer. I don't. Shit, I just don't understand it. Yeah, Trip. Yeah. I get that. Yeah, I understand that the whole subscription thing is more profitable and they make more money and all this stuff, but my only question is, why would Jeff Bezos want to make more money when he's already mega rich? Okay, just so rich we can't even fathom it. How could he sell his soul and sell out humanity to be mega richer? I don't get it. If I was already rich, I'd tell him to go jump in a damn lake. Yeah, I don't get the that flu jab either. I just don't do it. I don't. Everybody's always told me to get it. I don't get it. I've never felt the need for it. If I get the flu, then I get the flu. What the hell? So I'm sick for a couple days. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but I'm not letting them poke some weird shit in my body that I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is. And so, yeah. I mean, and I'm not telling anybody not to go get it. If you feel like, go get it. Yeah, good for you. But just personally, I'm with some of y'all who just don't do. I just don't do it. I mean, I've never felt the need for it, and just a waste of time for me. Yeah, John or Lonnie. Yeah, I was promised an apocalypse too, dude, and that's why I feel entitled to one. I'm owed one, right? I'm not owed welfare. I'm not owed a living by the government. I'm not owed any, but I'm owed an apocalypse. I feel, right? The United States government owes me an apocalypse. They need to kick off some shit where they just smoke civilization to the ground so I can go kicking through the rubble. That's what I want. And I know people think I'm crazy for saying that, but I can't change the way I feel. So they can just put up with it. They can deal with it because I don't care what they think of it. Yeah, exactly, Gardener Earth Guy. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Who do they think they are to demand that we put shit in our body? Who the hell? They think that they are our owners. They honestly believe that. Because that is what farmers do with cattle. You give your cow a shot and to keep it healthy or whatever. Sometimes it'll get an infection. You give it some medicine, whatever. You don't ask the cow's permission. You don't need to get the cow's consent, right? Why? Because the cow is property. The cow is owned by the farmer. If someone came and took the cow, then the farmer could call the police. If the cow got out, a friendly neighbor would bring the cow back to the farmer, right? Return the cow to the farmer. Or the farmer would go out and get it and bring it back. Okay? Now that is how we are treated. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. They force these mandates on us and stuff, and they act like we are sheep. And that's why everybody, they throw that word around a lot and stuff, but it's actually accurate in a lot of ways, right? Yeah, Arnis, yeah, probably. I got to say I agree with that. It's a competition for the richest, right? But what I don't get is that they sell out humanity, right, in an effort to win this damn competition. Sell out humanity. Yeah, contact and control. Yeah, Tim. Yeah, us poor folks get the booby prize, Robbie. Yeah, that's I know, Tim. Damn, Tim. Yeah, I know it's a slow mud slide, inflationary apocalypse. Yeah, that's probably what's actually happening. I'm afraid. I am actually afraid of that it's not going to be just an overnight thing, that I get to revel in and enjoy. It's this slow, creeping thing that's gonna suck. They're even gonna make the apocalypse suck by dragging it out and ruining it for me. It's just gonna be stupid, just like everything else. They're gonna make it stupid and they're gonna make it suck. You know what I mean? They've done it with everything, and they're gonna do it with the apocalypse too. Yeah, Christopher, follow the money. Yep. Sanitizer, gloves, masks, all that shit. Yep. You know how many billions of dollars were spent on that bullshit? Yeah, and I've heard this many times that 2020 episode was the biggest wealth transfer in the history of mankind. All of our money got funneled up to the big wigs, the whatever you want to call them, the billionaires. Yeah, Chaz, they're not going to jump out of a plane to follow your ass and poke you with nothing. they got to have balls of steel to stick something in Chaz's arm, I'm telling you. Yeah. I can see a nurse go skydiving after him with a needle. Come back here, you son of a bitch. Yeah, that's where they belong, in the deep freezer, Arnis. Yeah, yeah, Robbie, I agree. That's some kind of something like that. I don't know if labeling it, satanic or whatever, if that's truly accurate. It might be even deeper and more sinister than that, but it's something like that. I honestly believe, Robbie. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, underground. I completely agree with that. I think that's a good idea, to not give your dog shots and do it naturally. Yeah, Robbie, the crap apocalypse. That's probably what we're gonna get. That would suck though, dude. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be so pissed. Wally World, yeah. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Artis. It's a big club and we're not invited. And it's been that way for millennia. It really has. Because back in the aristocracy or whatever, they had the nobles and the bloodlines and all that shit. And now we're made to believe that all that's gone away. But it hasn't. It is in full swing. We just don't see it anymore. They're just not out there with it because they know that it would be that they depend on us. Where the hell else are they going to get the money and the power without us? There is no power if they don't have us, right? If we all just conformed, or not conformed, but took Laic's advice and we all just sat down and refused to comply with any of their bullshit, refused to play along. A revolution of silence, a revolution of non-compliance. Just everybody sat down and said, nah, screw that shit. Turn the internet off. I don't care. I got a book to read. Whatever. You know what I mean? If we all did that, they would be completely powerless. Completely. They would have nothing. All of their money in the world would not help them. All their servants would be sitting at their house reading a book or whatever. They couldn't drive themselves. They couldn't produce any food. They produce absolutely nothing. They don't help humanity in any way, any real concrete way. They give us, convenience, so called, but what they do is they talk other people with money. They use money to bribe them and control them into creating this convenience because they can't create the convenience themselves, right? Stephen Jobs didn't create the iPhone. He didn't do that shit. He got other people to do it. He had the idea, yeah, but he couldn't create the damn thing. Not even close. I watched that movie, the Stephen Jobs biography or whatever. And hell, he didn't even create the first Apple computer. It was Wozniak. So, it's all manipulation and bullshit. And without us, there is no power, right? It's all just an illusion. We think they have power because we give it to them, because we do what we're told. That's all it is. If we didn't do what we were told, then they would have no power. They would, what the hell are they going to do? Nothing. If we're going to send the cops over here, well, the cops are one of us. The soldiers are one of us. But that's the thing, that it has to be everyone, which will never happen, ever happen. So that's just, that's a pipe dream, but it's an eye-opening pipe dream to the reality of the situation, right? Yeah, Laura Ann said something like that in a comment earlier. She said she wished that they would give us an option to vote for no one. Like, we cast a vote, but it's for nobody. So if enough people cast a vote for nobody, then both of them lose. You know what I mean? That would be awesome. Or yeah, where everybody just sits down is another one. Gardner, that's another one. Just abstain. No, no, we're not doing it. We're not going to vote. But then all this online shit, they could just splash it on TV. So and so won, and we wouldn't know. I don't know how many people are going to vote in Washington State or New York. You know what I'm saying? There would be no way to tell that whether they were lying or not. So that would be a tough one to get by too. Yeah, Section 8. Yeah, Chaz. Kool-Aid with lead in it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the lazy revolution. Yeah, like your lazy revolution. That's one of the best ideas that I've heard in a long time. And it's just so eye-opening if you just follow that train of logic. Like I said, it will probably never happen, but if you follow that train of logic, what would happen? What could they do if everyone, they would have no military, they would have no police, they would have nothing to send after us because we are us, right? So, and Laic's the one who suggested that to me, and it's a really thought-provoking kind of mental, just a mental experiment you do in your head and follow that path down there and see what the hell would happen, right? And it's obvious. They would just dry up and blow away. They couldn't do anything. Yeah. Yeah, if you had enough, Bucky, yeah. Yeah, if you had enough, you can make an impact. I don't know if you would actually change the entire system. I don't know. I would like to see what would happen. Screw it. What's the worst that could happen? An apocalypse? we got some. Oh, I saw this thing where this dude, he was part of some kind of group that was trying to bring on the collapse of society, basically the apocalypse we keep talking about, right? He was part of some group that was actively trying to make that happen, and he said that he voted for Hillary Clinton, and they're like, "What the hell? Why on earth would you vote for Hillary Clinton?" And he said, "Well, think about it. What's the surest way to bring on a collapse than to put someone like her in the White House, And you think about it, you're like, yeah, well, the dude's got a point, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, levitate the Pentagon. Yeah, we should all get in a big circle around it, holding hands and meditate on that bitch, levitate it out of its foundation. Yeah. Yeah, just ignore them like Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah. Robert Heemstra, what's up, dude? Yeah, slackers. Oh, shit, everybody, hold on. Chaz is reloading. We got to pause. We're going to commercial break here. Let me see. Chaz reloading. Yeah, that's the way to set it up, Arnis, was for Mad Max. Get ready for that shit. Even if I think about it, dude, and maybe I'm a little off my rocker, but if you think about whatever eternity is, right? It's a long damn time. They say that the universe is 13.8 billion years old, but then then they looked at it a little further and they said, well, we might be wrong about that, even though we've been teaching that as fact for the last 20 years, whatever. But still, that's a long time. So let's say eternity, right? Or even, 13.8 billion years. If you look at that and then you look at my lifetime is like, I could live a million lifetimes in the blink of an eye compared to that vast amount of time, right? So with this little tiny just a molecule in the ocean of time that I have that is my life, what the hell does it matter, if I set my truck up for a Mad Max run and the apocalypse didn't happen? You know what I'm saying? And somebody got my Mad Max truck after I died. Who gives a shit, right? What the hell? What does it matter? Honestly. So if I want to, prepare for the apocalypse, if I want to spend my little blink of time preparing for the apocalypse, what the hell does anyone else care? Who gives a shit? I'm going to live my life the way I want, right? I'm going to do, as long as I don't hurt anybody else. I'm not saying, that kind of shit. Don't be a Jeff Bezos and take everyone's liberties and take everyone's property and shit and make everyone pay monthly fees for their shit. But as long as you're not affecting other people, what the hell? Why does anybody give a shit what other people are doing? And I'm just gonna live my life the way I want to, as well as I can with as much monetary freedom that I have, which is very little, but yeah, just that kind of thing, that line of thought strikes me once in a while, So what if I want to prep for the apocalypse? It's my damn life. And it's so short that who gives a shit, What the hell? After I die, no matter what happens after I die, whether I go to heaven, hell, or just my energy releases back into the universe, who gives a shit what I did with my eye blink? In 100 years, is anybody even going to know I was here? So I do what the hell I want to do. People think I'm, a little off my rocker. That's fine. I don't give a shit. Well, I don't want Trip to think I'm crazy. I take that back. He's over there in Australia. When an Australian thinks you're crazy, yeah, you've gone too far. You've gone too damn far. You need to reel in that crazy a little bit. When Australians start calling you off your rocker, you need to reel it in, dial it down. Oh shit. Yeah. Gardner. Yeah, hell yeah. Apocalypse ode. Pro-apocalypse candidates on every ballot. Hell yeah, that's a damn good idea, Gardner. I'll vote for that shit. Hell yeah. Now, they said that the Earth's core started spinning in the other direction a few years ago. Is that to do with the magnetic thing, the magnetic pole flip artiste? I hear a lot about that. I wonder if the pole does flip, what will it cause? Right? What's going to happen? I mean, the physical, with our oceans and our mountains and stuff, would it do anything? Or would it just make our compasses go crazy for a minute? I don't know. So, but that's an interesting thing. There's supposed to be several pole flips, every 10,000 years or whatever. I don't know what the numbers are, but it's supposed to be a common thing to do, that the Earth does. Flip the poles once in a while. Escape from Denver. You mean like Escape from New York, Arnis? Yeah. Apocalypse debt. That's the one we should be concentrating on, Gardner. Yep. Yeah, Trip. Yeah, that was cool. With Thanos smiling after he deleted 50% of life in the universe. That would be cool, Final Fantasy. I should put some in one of those time capsules. Total destruction, yeah. Oh yeah, Gen X shit. Doing Gen X shit is illegal now. Any of that. I mean, it started when they quit making jarts. That's when everything got pussified. Quit making jarts. Those were just good, clean fun. Come on now. What the hell? The the toilets will spin the opposite way. You mean we're gonna have to look at them going the other way? I always wondered about that because they said in Australia they spin the wrong way. Yeah, Molly Ringwald. Yeah, Gardner. Yeah, that's where I'm at, big country. I mean, I'm gonna prepare. Even my wife thinks I'm a little off my rocker at times. You know what I mean? She's like, "What's all this shit?" Hey, just in case, a hurricane might come. We got to be stocked up. We got to be ready. Yeah. Well, ocean currents will change. You think, Trip? Well, it will be damn interesting. I agree there. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I hope to be alive to see it. Some of those things, like freaking pole flip tax. Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 We'll get taxed for the pole flip. Yeah. It'll end up costing the taxpayers. We'll foot the bill for that bad boy. You know that. Laura Ann, I was just talking about you earlier. Yeah. 90s song Right Here, Right Now by Jesus Jones. Yeah. Yeah, fun is illegal, Ernest. Yeah, anything fun. Yeah, if you now you can do it online. You can do all kinds of crazy shit online. But go out in your own yard, you know, and throw jarts at your neighbors or something. Yeah, the law is coming. The law is coming. No matter how funny it looks, they're coming and put your ass in jail. And heaven forbid you post some, well, in England anyway, it's coming to a country near you, though, the jail time for unapproved Facebook posts and stuff, it's coming to a country near you. Now, we were talking about that comment you made about them putting on the ballot voting for no one. I don't want either one of these sumbitches. Laura Ann. Yeah, somebody talked about it earlier about not voting for anyone, and I brought up your comment you made. Yeah, Chaz. Yeah, chance favors the prepared mind. Yeah, that's a what are those? An old saying that has stayed true throughout the ages. Yeah, you make your own luck. Chance favors the prepared mind, and I just feel like it's flip a coin, 6-1, half a dozen the other, whatever. Why not be prepared? I mean, you can do the same thing on a smaller scale with hurricanes. I mean, you don't have to prepare for a hurricane. A hurricane might not come, but hell, it doesn't hurt to be prepared. It just doesn't hurt anything. But if it does come, you'll be damn happy that you did prepare, and that's just the way it is. Even if it's just as far as you don't have to wait in the gas lines, and you don't have to scramble to Walmart to buy a bunch of water because you already have the shit. So, yeah, it's just better to be prepared, in my opinion. Oh yeah. Yeah, Trip. Even if you just have one aspect of it ready, prepping, you'll be ahead of 90% of the population. Yeah. Yep. And a lot of it is just mental preparedness, expecting the unexpected. Right? If you're ready for it and you're prepared in your mind, then hell, you're just not, going through life like a sheep or an android. You're actually taking steps now to address some future event. Okay. Yeah, I agree, Laura Ann. Get rid of them all. Yeah, well, Lonnie, getting kicked off of Facebook now, those people over there in England are being physically arrested. They come to your house and put you in cuffs and take you to jail. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, Artis. That's common now. We're all toxic toxic males. Yeah, we're not, pandering flower boys and all this shit. We're toxic. Just for being a regular dude now, you're toxically masculine. Just for being a dude. You like football or something? Oh, you're toxic. Well, although the NFL is going the other way, but whatever. Oh yeah. Oh, vitamin L dispensaries are definitely come in handy. Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's just reality. There are jerks that are women. There are jerks that are men. There are assholes in every category. But I don't know what this whole thing is with the whole, the patriarchy being the devil nowadays. But it's just so backwards. They have it so backwards now. They've got these people so brainwashed that just normal ass people, me and Lake and Big Country, we're the bad guys just for being male. You know what I mean? But they'll fawn at these ultra rich men, fawn at their feet, and they're the ones who are actually doing the shit. You know what I mean? They're the ones who are actually the evil ones. But they're the ones who get to pay all the media and lobby and all this shit so that they can look like the good guys and get all of the fan base and all that shit. I guess I don't know. But it's crazy to say that, to point the finger at just a common working person and call them the problem. Shit, I'm just working my ass off trying to pay my bills. I don't have time to try to hold anybody back or hold anybody down or I I wish I had that kind of time. I still wouldn't do it, but shit, it's just crazy. Yeah. Yeah, election day in Norway, like it makes some kind of difference, right? Yeah. Yeah, you're still gonna save the world, Lake. And I think we all have that in common, whether it be Norway or Australia or Germany or wherever, England especially. It's just we vote, we go up there and we vote, and we think we're making a difference, and we're using our voice and we're being heard and all this stuff. And unless you actually do some stuff like Tripp did recently, go and actually show up physical in your physical body and make presence and stuff, then it's just a waste of time. I don't know how effective that is in a lot of places. Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good idea, Tripp. Yeah, grab a photo album and load it up with veggie seeds. Costs about $20. Yep. Chaz, you get put in YouTube jail once a week, dude? Where's LJ? Oh, LJ, what's up, dude? Yeah. It's system design, dude. You're right. Glad to see you here, LJ. Glad you can make it, dude. Yeah, it's global, man. That's the thing that I think a lot of people miss or condone or, support is all this globalist shit. And it is the worst thing for humanity. It's right up there with AI, if not probably worse than AI, way worse. But I don't know, depending on how AI folds out, right? How that shit unfolds. But this globalism stuff is just horrible for regular people. It's wonderful for corporations. People don't realize that, yeah, that opened up a great big market in China for Ford. They get to sell to Chinese now in this new global economy. But how does that help the people of America and Australia and Norway and Canada? How does that help us? Sending our factories over there. How does that help us? Oh, you can buy cheap Chinese shit now because poor people can afford it. Well, I wouldn't be poor if you didn't send all our shit over there. I could buy good American shit. You know? So that globalism, and that is just part of it. That's just the global economy. That's not all the immigration where they're spreading out. If you could pull back and look at the planet and how they're spreading out and like making trying to make everything global, right? One just generic pasty population of sheep, right? Basically. So, you know, they just want one easy herd of people to manipulate and shit. Having all these different, you know, some of them fools want freedom. They want to be free over there in Australia and in America and Canada. We got to do something about that shit. One of these days they might stand up and you know, and throw us out. They might stop, you know, buying cheap Chinese shit one day. Just the thought of that, you know, probably makes them sick to their stomach. So they can't even take that chance. So that's what we're facing. That's what we're faced with. And I truly despise this whole idea of globalism. I think that, you know, that Greeks should be Greeks and Italians should be Italians. I mean, that is diversity. Diversity isn't making the entire world one gelatinous, milky, generic, pasty population. That's not diversity. But a lot of that population is fooled into thinking that it is. Yeah, and back to the toxic thing. Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's part of that globalism plan. You make masculinity toxic, and because, I mean, in all honesty, it's the men who would stand up, right? Women, and no offense to women, I mean, most Gen X women hopefully would just know the facts and the truth of what I'm saying. But women are nurturers and stuff. Men are defenders. Men, it's programmed into us to defend women and children. It's just part of our nature. A man will rush into a burning house and pull out little kids. A man, even if they're not his. You know, that kind of thing. So when you start threatening the women and children of a community, the men will stand up and defend them. All right? Now, what's the best way to stop that? Well, you make men toxic. You make them the bad people. You make them, you know, you separate men from women and make the men toxic, and then the men want to be, you know, feminine, whatever you want to call that shit. Men want to be not masculine. Okay, and that's perfect. Now men don't feel like, you know, they need to defend a strong, independent woman. She doesn't need defending. You know, why would I do that? Why would I put myself in harm's way when she's strong and independent? I don't need to do that. I don't feel like doing that. You know, if I do, then I'm going to be called toxic and I'm going to be canceled and all this shit. So if people don't see that plan in action, then they're not paying attention. That is a devised plan being instituted down upon Western civilization, and just to take men out of the equation. If you know, you take men out, then, you know, what the hell? Who's gonna fight? Who's gonna defend? Who's gonna defend families? And who's gonna rush into that burning building? Who's gonna stand up and and rush that machine gun nest to keep their family free. Who's going to do that? These new, man bun wearing, whatever you want to call them, I don't know. But they're not going to do it. It'll have to be the strong, independent women, and that's exactly what the globalists want. But you're not gonna have an uprising of Vikings in Norway storming the beaches, trying to defend their women in a few hundred more years, or a couple more decades, because all of us Gen Xers are gone, and all these weak, non-toxic males, that's all that's left. Well, hell, you just do what you want with them. And yeah, Laura Ann, it's difficult to say in this day and age, but all women do. They just don't want to admit it. They want to be strong and independent, right? Not because they're crazy or whatever, but because that's what society has impressed upon them. I've seen it since I was a child. I watched it happening to my sisters. I know what I'm talking about. Y'all have been pressured, right? It's not because you each individually just jumped up, and all these women just jumped up all on their own and started talking about being strong and independent women. No, they've been pressured and brainwashed into it. Okay? Just like the men have been pressured and brainwashed into being little bitch boys. That's just the way it is. It's happening. Anybody who argues that fact is just not, like I said, you're just not paying attention. Yeah, that's exactly, LJ. It's that push for female masculinity. All this trans shit. This shit didn't just come out of nowhere. These celebrities aren't walking around with 3 trans kids. You got 3 kids and all of them are trans. All right? Just the statistical odds of that happening are like 188 billion to 1 for one person to have 3 trans kids. Okay, that tells me that celebrity is insane, and she's ruining those children's lives for the sake of this counterculture shit, whatever, this culture shit, this cultural shit that they're pushing, this globalist bullshit. Yeah, and it's sickening. And those of you raising actual real men, Laura Ann, and others like you, y'all need to be giving you accolades. Y'all need to be thanked by humanity for actually raising men who push against that shit and retain their masculinity. Yeah, that's a, as you can see, that's a sore point with me, watching these young kids growing up and treated this way. I just, a lot of shit being done I can joke about and all this stuff, but stuff with kids, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around and to talk about without getting upset at these slimy sons of bitches pushing this shit on our kids and on parents, getting these gullible ass parents to go along with it. Yeah. No, yeah, that what's that called? That word is gonna, an oxymoron, Jason. A happy feminist, yeah, that's an oxymoron. Those two things, like oil and water. No, because they're doing the opposite of what is in them to be happy. All right, it's just, you can't, and it's going to be the same thing with these weak ass men in the future. They can't be happy. They can't be. They're struggling against their own nature. Their nature is to be strong and protective and defend the weak and defend their family and stuff like that. That's our nature, and we all know it. Us dudes here talking, Johnny, Artiste, you know, Trip, Laic, we all know this. I'm saying this stuff like I'm, you know, but I'm preaching to the choir. Y'all know this shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what a man is. But all this shit going down, these kids don't know that shit. And these young women are being brainwashed with all this crazy shit, and it's gonna be the downfall of humanity. Maybe not completely like apocalyptic, but I can see us being basically just generic slaves to whatever, you know, some dystopian shit, 1984 style stuff. You know, you go in and get your daily ration of gruel, and then go out and do your work all day. And happiness is something that people used to have in the past. You know, that was some weird thing that people used to strive for in the past. Happiness, you know, that's not something that we try to get. That's just ridiculous. You know, I support the state. I just want to do what's best for the state. That kind of shit. LJ, yeah. Yeah, we all need to preach. But, you know, a lot of times I said it like that because I know I'm preaching to the choir. Y'all already understand it. Y'all already get it. But there might be, you know, an odd Gen Z kid or a Gen Alpha or whatever that watches this video, and it might, you know, spark something in their heads. So that's why I allow myself to go off on these tirades sometimes. So, you know, when a kid who's maybe struggling with that shit, and he might run across this video and say, oh, that's what a man is? That's why I'm, you know, feeling like shit all the time? Because I'm trying to be a little bitch boy, and I'm not really a little bitch. You know what I'm saying? I'm a dude, and it's okay to be a dude. It's okay. You can be a dude. That's all right. Yeah, Jason. Yep. And the bad thing about it is the whole feminist thing, and I hate to go off on the whole feminist thing because a lot of women take it the wrong way. Not Laura Ann, of course, or most of the ones that watch Gen X thinks, but a lot of them do. But by the time women are old enough to wake up to that shit, their childbearing years are gone. Think about it. You know, by the time a woman hits middle age and she's starting to wake up and look at, holy shit, I've been brainwashed my whole life. I just happened to run across this damn video of this dude's going on a rant about, you know, toxic masculinity and stuff, and it kind of woke me up, but now I can't have kids anymore. That kind of thing. So it's a little different for women, you know. They get brainwashed real early in life. I mean, real early. And they were getting brainwashed early in life when I was a kid. Yeah. Now they're starting to focus. They're shifting the aim to the young boys. And because they pretty much got the young girls locked up, right? That's on lockdown. We don't have to waste so much time with the girls anymore. They're now we got to focus on these young boys. Yeah, they're yeah. And I have a theory about that, about my whole cyclical version of time. I actually have a theory about that, and if that's true, then you can see why women were oppressed by the older days, right? Because if this feminist thing rises up every time, and I want to differentiate between women's liberation and feminism. Those are two completely different things. Because women, in my opinion, women should be able to have a credit card in their own name. They should be able to go work if they want to. They should be able to do, whatever the hell they want. But feminism is when women are pressured, peer pressured by other women to leave their families and go get a job. That is feminism. Yeah, if you don't go get a job, leave your kids at home to fend for themselves and go get a job, then you're a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen that my entire life, where women feel pressured into doing that to conform to society. And so, I don't know. I believe in one thing, just like everything else, the pendulum has swung too far. Women should be free, but they should also be free from societal pressures that force them into all this crazy feminist shit. They shouldn't be forced into the job market if they don't want to. They should be able to stay home, raise kids, and be perfectly happy doing that and appreciated by society, which they are not at all anymore. Now this whole traditional wife thing, that's a tiny little subculture, So, but I got a lot of respect for women who choose that and rail against the system that's from every direction telling them to do something else, but they know what's right and they do it. So I got just crazy respect for women because there's so much brainwashing and so much pressure on women. It's insane. Yeah, Laura Ann. Yeah, I respect that. I mean, to the utmost. I can't tell you how much I respect that, because I understand how much pressure, not just face to face, from your friends and stuff, but from TV, movies, commercials, every direction you go, you're pressured to be a debt slave, to be an employee. Yeah, the confused males today. Yeah, exactly, Trip. Yep, yeah, LJ, that was the beginning of it, and I think that's what made us latchkey kids, a lot of that, because divorce rates skyrocketed, women entering the workforce skyrocketed, and we were left to our own devices. There was nobody there. You know what I mean? You come home, nobody there, because dad's living in a different state, and mom is still at work. Or she just left for work, an hour before you got off of school, whatever it was. So we didn't have the toxic masculinity thing to try to turn us into little bitches. So we escaped that. It hadn't gone that far yet. So that's one of the reasons why we were just in a sweet spot as far as growing up as kids. We had a lot of freedom, and now I look back on that freedom with fondness, don't get me wrong, but at the same time it would have been great to be raised with both parents in the home and a mom at home taking care of me, and dad going off to work, and a normal thing like that. I think that would have been great. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't live that way, you know what I'm saying? But it seems like it would have been great. But I see the statistics about single parent people growing up in single parent homes, and these kids, the crime rate is skyrockets when both parents aren't involved. It's just crazy. Another wonderful secret. What's up? Glad you made it. Yeah. Yeah. They shouldn't vote for candidates who were found guilty of felonies and found liable for sexual abuse. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. Arnis, right there. Me and you're seeing eye to eye there. Women should be able to do whatever they want. But that's the crazy part, right? Dudes like us, and most people, most dudes, I'd say, would agree with us. Women should be able to do whatever the hell they want. They're human beings. They should be free. But the man-hating feminist, all right, they won't allow women to do what they want. The men, I'm fine with it. Do what you want. You want a job? Go get a job. I don't care. Now, you have kids with me. I would prefer that you stay home and raise our kids. Unless you're the one making more money. I'll stay home then. Shit. Well, one of us need to be at home. That kind of thing. But the point I'm trying to make is it's the man-hating feminist who doesn't think that women should be able to do whatever they want. A man-hating feminist believes that a woman should do a certain thing and only that thing. Go to work, right? Go to work and rise up the corporate ladder and all that shit. That's the most important thing. Not, do whatever you want. I'll support you. Yeah, great. You're gonna raise your kids at home, stay home and raise kids? Awesome. That's great for you. You never see a feminist say that. Never. Never, ever. Now, why not? She's a woman. Why shouldn't she have the right to do whatever she wants? If you're pro women, right? That's the double standard that I can't stand. I can't stand hypocrisy and double standards and all this shit. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. If women are free to do whatever they want, then women are free to do whatever they want, right? Society shouldn't pressure them to do a certain thing and then claim that they want freedom. You're doing the opposite of freedom. That's like Hitler rounding up the Jews because he wants people to be free. No, Hitler. Yeah. Oh yeah, Bucky. Yeah, feminism is pushed down, and they just, in my opinion, they latched a hold of the women's lib movement, and they injected that feminist shit in on top of it, and basically, took it over and destroyed it. Yeah. Yeah, Jason, the United Nations for Women and what? Yeah. It's bullshit. And and where people who see this will take this as a bunch of dudes on here just complaining about women, right? And it's just not true. It's not true. We want women to be free and to be honored and respected, right? Honored and respected enough to make their own decisions, to be free thinkers, to go get a job if they want. If you want to be a corporate powerhouse, go do it. Go be CEO of whatever. You should be free to do that if that's the choice you make. You should not be pressured to do that. Period. End of story. You should not be pressured to do that. Yeah, Arnis, that's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah, there's no problem with that. But if the woman makes more money, then as long as one parent can stay home. Now, that's another thing. I believe that this whole financial shit, this is controlled. I don't know. You would have to show me a whole lot of evidence to prove to me or to get me to even entertain the idea that the economy and all this bullshit is not controlled by design by the powers that be. So I'm just letting you know where I'm coming from there. So I believe that our economy is controlled in order to force both parents into the job market and split up family. Number one, it makes more money. If you're bringing in two incomes, you have more money to spend. The government gets more money, all that shit, right? Number two, if you leave your kids with someone else at daycare and stuff, and someone else raises your kids, that is weakening and deteriorating the nuclear family, which is the main goal of all of this shit. The destruction of the nuclear family. Mom, dad, kids in the same house living together. That's the main thing they're trying to destroy. All right? Because that's the basic, that's like the atom of the of the material. So they want to destroy that. So they want to get both parents out of the household. How do you do that? You create an economy where they must. They can't afford to survive on a single income. How do you do that? Well, send all their good manufacturing jobs overseas. That'd be a good start, because all those dudes and women working in those factories, making damn good money, well, they can afford to support a family on their own. And this kind of shit. And it's all by design. All of these recessions and depressions and stock market fluctuations and all this shit, that shit is by design, in my opinion, years in advance. Years in advance. They knew that shit was going to happen. And it's sickening. It's sickening. And here, okay, people say that, they kind of question me when I say this kind of stuff, like the stock market's bullshit. It's just for control and stuff, and the economy is controlled. Okay, for those of you who are wondering that, all right, let's say that I sell LJ a stock, right? Now, I sold the stock, and LJ purchased the stock, all right? Gen X thinks. Let's say I sell LJ a share of Gen X thinks. I sold the stock, LJ bought the stock. Gen X thinks. That means I don't have confidence in Gen X thinks. I think it's going to tank. But LJ has confidence in it. He thinks it's going to go up. All right. Now, when you sell stock like that, somebody must buy it. There's not just one big pool of empty money out there that, a big pool of money that you get when you sell stock. That's not how it works. Somebody must purchase it. So, I sell it to LJ. LJ buys it. Who decides which transaction has more weight in the stock market? The stock market movement. Now, I sold it. I don't believe in Gen X Think stock, right? So it would go down. But LJ believes in it, so it would go up. So who decides which one carries more weight? If I sell 10 million shares to LJ, 10 million shares, but LJ believes in it, he's willing to spend a whole bunch of money on it. So why did the stock market go down? Why did the stock price plummet on Gen X Thinks? You know what I mean? Can anybody answer that for me? Does anybody know the answer to that riddle? So this is the kind of shit that makes me believe that it's all manipulation. It's tools of control. It's all bullshit. I don't know how else to say it. It's all bullshit. They control our economy. They control the stock market. They control it all, and we're all just kind of floating along on this rip current of bullshit, fiat economy, currency bullshit that they've created. Flying X, what's up? Glad to see you here. Oh yeah, Chaz. They're getting rid of the middle class. They've gutted it by probably 60% so far. That's just a guess off the top of my head. No, I haven't read that anywhere, but I'm just guessing. They probably gutted it by 60% since the 90s. Yeah, yeah, LJ. Yeah, 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 yeah. Flying X, money laundering. Exactly. It's all manipulation, bullshit, and but the most people don't take time to think through it like that, right? Most people don't, just they're just busy with their shit. They're watching TikTok videos or whatever. They're watching, Oprah Winfrey or whatever the hell they're doing, and they don't take time to think about the shit. Why is it like that? You know, and that's why I I say that a lot on Gen X Thinks. I'm inviting you to think about this stuff with me. Maybe because y'all bring up so many good points on here that make me think, and I'm hoping to do the same for y'all. And I'm not saying, go out and sell all your stock or whatever. That would be ridiculous. There's money to be made in the stock market. There's money to be made in crypto. There's money to be made in a lot of places. But uh, you know, saying that's just not manipulation and it's not controlled and all that stuff. Don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining, because it is what it is. It's gambling. You put your money in there, you might lose it, every cent of it. You might lose your money, and so that's gambling. You're tossing your money in there and you're hoping it grows. But there's no guarantee that it will, and you're hoping that whoever's manipulating the market, hopefully you're on the good end of that stick, right? You want to be on the clean, shiny end of that stick, not the shitty end. But yeah, that it's all manipulation and control, fear. They want to control us with fear. There might be another recession. Ooh, it might be. So what if there's another recession? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit if prices go up because of tariffs? Who gives a shit? They went up anyway without any tariffs. The prices since 2019, just in the places I go to the most, Lowe's and Home Depot, because of the trade I'm in. I'm a handyman, for those of you who don't know. Going to Lowe's and Home Depot for the last 20 years, I've been going in there buying materials to do my work. Since 2019, the materials in there have tripled, and they didn't come down. And Trump's tariffs had nothing to do with that. Nothing, not a damn thing. So if the prices are going up anyway, tripling in 5 years, you think I give a shit if Trump makes the prices go up when at least trying to help us? I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. They're going up anyway. At least I'd like to see them go up for a good reason. Wiley Ann, what's going on, Wiley Ann? Glad to see you here. Glad you can make it. But yeah, prices are going up. And if they go up because of tariffs, that makes me happy rather than just going up just to go up. At least there's a reason. Why'd the prices, triple? But it was because of inflation. Well, it's inflation. Don't you know? It's inflation. You're just a dumbass handyman. You're just a dumbass truck driver. You're just a dumbass, park ranger or something. You don't understand the intricacies of inflation. Well, okay, but if there's so much inflation, then why are all these corporations selling these products, making record profits? Record profits. What? That's inflation. So why aren't the prices of their materials inflating? Why didn't their profits stay the same if it's inflation, right? They're making record profits though, meaning they're making more money than they did before the inflation. So yeah, that kills me. Yeah. Yeah, Flying X, $100 for that shit. It's crazy. And I just went and saw, I took a picture of it and sent it to my wife. 1 pound of coffee, 30, and not even a super, fancy name brand of coffee. Just a regular average pound of coffee, $30. I saw that shit. I will drink acorn juice before I pay $30 for a pound of coffee. I tell you that right now. They can go shove that coffee up their ass. I don't give a damn. Yeah, oh, there you go, Final Fantasy. See, janitors and handymen, we're too dumb to understand all this stuff. We're told, right? We're too dumb. We're too dumb to think about, what happens when someone buys the stock that you sold. Why did the stock go down? Someone bought it, didn't they? So why did the stock go down? There was a purchase and a sale. So why did the stock go down? That shit just crazy to me. But these so-called educated people are gonna try to tell me that it's just beyond. There's no real explanation. No, market fluctuations and all this bullshit. It's just this a bunch of hand washing and vague ideas and stuff about why it's happening. No real concrete explanations. Oh yeah, Loran, yeah. And if I had to trade my peace and my integrity, my honor, my soul to be rich like Jeff Bezos or whatever, I would not do it. No. I promise you that, no, I wouldn't do it. Because I don't have enough. Maybe when I was younger, I might have. When I was 19 years old and Ferrari would have got me the girls and stuff, I might have. I'm not going to lie. And I assume that most dudes would have. But now, when when I got so many years left, 30, 40 years left on this planet, and, who gives a shit if I'm on a yacht or I'm in or I'm in my 1999 Chevy Express. What difference is it going to make in 30 years? I'm just not going to sell my soul or any of that shit for money. No, I don't care how much money. I don't have enough time left to make it, to correct that error. I don't have enough time to be the person I want to be. You could sell out for a while, and when you're younger and still correct, you can still correct. You have time to make some corrections. But at my age now, no, I wouldn't do it. No. For $30 a pound, Loran? No, not for 30. I like coffee too, and dairy too, but not for $30 a pound. I don't need it that damn bad. I'm telling you, I'll go collect some acorns and stuff and brew my own bitter ass coffee before I pay that much. Yeah, Robbie. Yeah, they do. They want us eating bugs and shit. Yeah, Wiley Ann. Yep, yeah, it's a club. Somebody said that earlier. I forget now who, but yeah, it's a club. And they think they're controlling shit, and they think they're our owners, right? I believe they honestly do think that. Scotty Butters, what's up? Bullish on Parade. Glad to see you here. Your family's crazy rich. Do they need to adopt a son, Loran? I'm up for adoption. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. I'm up for adoption. I got the paperwork right there in the drawer. I'll get it out and send it to him. Yeah, we don't have time for nonsense. You're right about that, Final Fantasy. Yeah, Wiley, exactly. I bet you that is closer to the truth than what most people believe. You know what I'm saying? Than the picture we have in our heads. Yeah, big country. You got to store it up, huh? That's one thing I don't know why, but I haven't thought about that. I should though. I need to get me some and put it in my stash. Yeah, a whole bunch of it, as a matter of fact. 2 years worth of instant. Yeah, that's. I need to do the same thing, Laura. How the hell did I miss that? See, there's something I learned just now. I don't know how I mind blanked on that. I've got all kinds of shit, and that's not one of them. What the hell am I thinking? So yeah, I know what I'll be buying here the next couple of trips to the store. Yeah, Chaz. Eating bugs. But they want us to. Have you seen that shit? You see that stuff about how crickets have 90% more protein than steak and all this crap. They're trying to normalize that shit, right? Yeah. If you want to be completely controlled, no, no, I don't think so. I think you're probably right, Lauren. Hey, Scotty Butters. Oh, good. Glad to see you here. Glad new sub. All right, 53 this last Friday, Scotty, or the next Friday? Did you just turn 53? I've turned 54 in May. Mac MC, what's up? Glad to see you here. Tea is a good one too. Yeah, I need to buy both. That's right. I like tea. Tea is a good one too, and it's pretty easy to make on a campfire. If bugs had caffeine, I wonder about that. I bet there probably is a bug with caffeine in it. Shit. Yeah, I never thought about that before. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, Flying X. Yeah. That shit. Don't get me started, dude. I don't have time. I think I'm running out anyway. Oh, yeah. All right. All right. It's 6 o'clock. So that's the fastest 2 hours of my life is our Sunday afternoon edition of Gen X Thinks Live. And oh yeah, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Oh, I might try to do that. I grow all kinds of stuff. My passion is fruit trees, Wylan. I've never tried to grow coffee though. Blueberries grow good here. Oh, I gotta look into that though. Coffee. I'm gonna probably have to buy coffee seeds, the raw ones. Cause don't they roast coffee beans to make the coffee grounds? I think so. I'm almost positive. Yeah, that's what I was saying about the acorns earlier. I don't think they have caffeine in them, but at least it would get at least you'd get the physical act of drinking a hot beverage. All right. Well, I gotta sign off here, and I gotta edit a video for tomorrow, and do all my Sunday evening stuff, get ready for work tomorrow and all that stuff. Yeah, game over, LJ. Man, I can't even tell you. I have so much fun. I know I kind of went off on a couple of rants today. If y'all liked them, cool. That's awesome. But I actually try to keep it kind of light and kind of BS about nostalgic stuff. But we kind of got into deeper topics. But it's just kind of the way our conversation went today. So we never know what the hell we're going to talk about, right? So that's one thing I really like about our live streams. Hopefully y'all like that too. But so I just want to say that I know it went kind of off into the deeper end of things today, but that's not the normal way. We can obviously go off into deeper subjects, but sometimes it doesn't happen that way, does it? We just talk about lighthearted shit and laugh and joke and you know make fun of Chaz's reloads and and his skydiving and all that. and pick on the Norwegians if we can. If we can get a shot in at our Norwegian over there once in a while, and our Australians too. Oh yeah, Vintage wasn't here today. He's probably working, huh? It's because it's morning over there in Australia. We didn't hear from Vintage. So hey, Vintage, I know you didn't get to chime in, but we know you're out there, buddy. Hopefully you're having a great day. All right. So we got Dead Wolf Resistance, Laura Ann, Oliver Rust, LJ, Chaz, Tripwire, Jeff 7. Who else we got here? Let me see. For those of you who are new, I just like to say goodbye to as many people as I can at the end of the show. Laic, Jason Lamour, Arnis, Artiste, Big Country, Robbie Reese, Dead Wolf Resistance, LJ, Final Fantasy, Flying X, Bucky Nave, April. Let's see, who else we got here? Did I say Flying X already? Bullish on Parade, Mac MC, Scotty Butters. Who else we got? All right. The only way I can do this is to scroll back through the comments. So if you haven't commented in a while, I might not get you. So I apologize to anybody that I didn't catch. Say goodbye to. And I want to say that I appreciate everybody who watches on television, because that's actually how I watch these, and I don't get to comment and stuff on the ones that I watch. So I know that some people watch these on television, but I know you're out there, and I appreciate you watching. You're part of the club too, part of our slightly unhinged club here at Gen X Thinks. So just want to say I appreciate everybody, and I have such a blast with these live streams. So please come back next weekend. I have so much fun. You really make my week. Make it worth living through the week to make it to Sunday afternoon. Wiley Ann, hey, thanks for showing up, Wiley Ann. I hope I didn't miss you before, but I'll say your name again. Longtime member of Gen X Thinks. I appreciate your support, Wiley Ann. You too, Laic. I appreciate your support. And I'll leave you there with that. As always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.